Today's topic is diversity in the living world. Diversity in the living world. Now, diversity, what's the meaning of diversity? Diverse, many. Okay, so biodiversity. What is biodiversity? You know, you are familiar with the word biodiversity. That is, biodiversity is the number and types of organisms present on Earth. The number and types of organisms present on the Earth is known as biodiversity. That is, occurrence of different types of organisms, different types of animals, different types of plants is known as biodiversity. And second point of this is number of species described is 1.7 to 1.8 million. That means millions of types of 1.7 to 1.8 millions of different types of organisms are there. And the word species, number of species. Species is what is species? We are going to study about this later. Species is a group of organisms. Group of organisms which can interbreed to produce their own types. For example, cat. Cat is a species, dog is a species, human beings is a species. Okay, so now just to understand this much and we'll discuss about this later. Now, another word is taxonomy. Taxonomy or systematics is the study of identification, classification and nomenclature of organisms. Okay, there is a branch of biology known as taxonomy or systematics. That is the study of identification, then classification and nomenclature of organisms. Okay. What is biology? Biology is the study of organisms. Under biology, there are many branches, and one of the branches coming under biology is taxonomy or systematics. That is the study of identification, then classification and nomenclature of organisms. Okay, the word systematics came from Latin. The systema means systematic arrangement. Arranging organisms systematically. Okay, that is what is meant by systema. Okay, now next is Systema Naturae is the book written by Linnaeus. Father of taxonomy is Linnaeus, the scientist Linnaeus or Carolus Linnaeus. Okay. Scientist, you may have heard about him. Linnaeus is the father of taxonomy. Okay, now what is taxonomy? Study of identification, then classification and nomenclature of organisms. Now, but the processes of taxonomy. What are the basic processes of taxonomy? One is characterization. First step is a characterization of organisms. It is the understanding of characters of organisms such as external and internal structure, then structure of cell, development process, ecological information, etc. First step in taxonomy or grouping of organism is a characterization. That is understanding the characters of organisms such as external and internal structure, how it looks like and what are the internal structure, then structure of cells, then development process, then ecological information. Ecology means what? Ecology? Environmental. Where does it live and what types of environment it requires. All this come under ecology. Okay, the first process one of the first process of taxonomy is a characterization, that is understanding the characters of organisms. Okay, then second is identification. What is identification? It is the correct description of the organism so that the naming is possible. Second step is identification, that means identifying the organism. It is the correct description of the organism so that naming is possible. First, understanding what type of organism is that, then identifying, then third one is classification. Classifying, it is the grouping of organisms into convenient categories or taxa. In biology we call group or categories as taxa. Taxon singular, T-A-X-O-N, taxon, group. Taxa is plural, clear? T-A-X-O-N, taxon is group. Its plural is taxa, T-A-X-A, taxa, that is groups. Okay, and what is done here? Classification is done. It is the grouping of organisms into different groups. What are these groups called? Taxa. Based on what? Based on the characters we understood. Okay, then the next step is nomenclature, that is naming. We have identified and grouped. First of all, what did we do? First we have understood what type of organism is that, then identified it properly, then classified it into convenient groups or taxon. Then last step is naming. Naming means when a baby is born, what we do? We name that. We give a name to that baby. That ceremony is known as what? Nomenclature or naming. Okay, and it is the standardization of names of the organisms such that an organism is known by the same name all over the world. Okay, and by nomenclature, what is meant is that the organism is known by the same name throughout the world. Okay, and the system of naming is first of all proposed by Linnaeus, scientist Carolus Linnaeus or Carl Linnaeus, and he proposed naming in two parts. One organism has two parts in its name, and this system is known as binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. Bi means two, having two names. Binomial nomenclature, and his name is known as scientific name, having two names. That is a scientific name. In all the organisms, all groups have a name which is known as a scientific name. And what is the scientific name of a human being? Yes. What is it? Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. And how many parts are there? Two parts. Homo and sapiens. Okay, clear now? And this system is known as a binomial nomenclature. And who proposed it? Linnaeus. And in zoology, this name is known as a zoological name, and in botany it is a botanical name. And there are certain rules for naming like this, and in botany it is the rules are based on International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. Okay, naming of organism is based on rules in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. And in zoology the same, which is known as International Code for Zoological Nomenclature, that is ICBN. Both are same scientific name, but in botany it is a botanical name which comes under International code for botanical name nomenclature, and in zoology ICBN, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Very important that one, abbreviation. Then next we will study in the next class. Okay, we'll see in the next class.